What's up? What's up? Welcome, everybody to Sideline to Baseline with MB and minus K Lou. K Lou holding it down in the Who Dat Nation. But hey, man, good Lord always provides some Rams in the bush. I got my boy Double A holding it down with the old school throwback hurricane hat on. What's up, Professor? How you doing?
Pretty good, sir. Welcome. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and I got my man down here in Clemson territory. Run not run DMC, but run CMC. What's up, run CMC? AKA Orange Peel, holding it down. What's CMC for? What
Christian
cash money or something? Cash money, brother. What?
Christian McCaffrey.
Chris- so we
I went.
got.
I went to high school with his mother.
Did you?
So we got let Russ cook, and now we got run CMC, huh? Is that how it's working down there? And then I got my cousin DeHaven holding down, man. He got a big smile on his face. His 49ers won this week, so you know he's all good in the hood. See, there you go. and then Trey Lance, he had a little package. He got on the field for a little bit, right? So you don't. And Jimmy G seemed like he had a good game, you know. So that smile getting bigger and bigger, man. How did you become a 49er fan, man? You Jerry Rice days and all that back in the days, Bill Washington?
Well, no, actually, the first Super Bowl I remember watching was the 1984 season when Joe Montana beat Dan Marino 38-16. That's the first Super Bowl I remember watching on television. And I just remember Joe Montana raising his hands in the air, and I was like, I just love that excellence. I love that team. So I've liked him ever since then.
Oh man, so he's a little baby in the crib. Joe Montana.
I was about 6. Yeah, I was about 6, and that's the first time, I remember watching the 49ers.
Hey, you can't. They definitely been winning and one of the team of decades, man. The 49ers, man, going against the G-Man. I like those battles, or going against the Cowboys.
That 91 where we was going 3-peat and Matt Barr hit that 50-yarder. I cried. I was like an elementary school. I cried.
and then you had the whole thing with the who rented Deion Sanders. He go to San Francisco one year, they win. He go to Dallas.
And then he goes to Dallas. Yeah.
So you had that whole thing. So yeah, no doubt. That's definitely a classic, man. Well, I mean, shoot, you bring up the 49ers. Let's talk about the 49ers, man. What's your thoughts on the game? What did you like? What you didn't like?
I was happy for 3 quarters. Number one, I love the way Jimmy Garoppolo played. Let's just get it. The first snap, he actually fumbled. I was like, here we go again. But he actually 17 for 25, 314 yards. The running game, Deebo Samuel was a monster. I mean, he 8 catches, 189 yards, a 76-yard bomb. I love that. I was concerned about the run defense throughout the whole game. Even when we were dominating, Kinlaw didn't hurt. He had his knee issues. But the run defense, we gave Fred Warner all that money. But the big guys up front in the middle, I think it was DJ Jones in there for us. I wanted to see a little bit more out the run defense. And, of course, at the end, I hate that Jason Verrett went down. We're really thin at cornerback. And said after Verrett went down, he started putting in the second stringers. And that's when Detroit made that comeback. But, so there's things to like and things to love, and then some things I didn't like. Definitely didn't like the end of the game, though. And I thought we needed a little bit more pass rush. I was proud to see D Ford back in action, got him a sack. Right. Thought his career was over. I can go on and on. Don't let me dominate the show. We can call this.
How did I know Nick Bosa? How did you feel like he played?
First half, he was a little iffy. He was going up against a rookie named Penei Sewell. But then in the second half, Nick got into his groove, had a couple tackles for a loss, some nice sack. He got a sack on golf. So, but overall, I was okay. The secondary worries me. We were really thin. Might have to call your boy Richard Sherman on the phone right now.
I was thinking the same thing. Shoot, you gave up like over 400 yards of offense to Detroit Lions. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end, they was isolating the guy on the corner. I said, man, they need Sherman back on the outside.
Need to call Sherman up, and I think he said he's going to do that because Barrett is an ACL tear, unfortunately.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. And the Eagles look good. Got them on Sunday. They looked all right in Atlanta. I guess Atlanta makes anyone look good, but
right now,
yeah, Atlanta defense, man. Yeah, I thought Jalen Hurts actually for Philly, he did a good job. He did a good job taking what the defense gave him to him. He'll run the ball when he had to run the ball, made good decisions. And then that running back Sanders from Philly, man, he surprisingly did well. And Devontae Smith, had his first, obviously, rookie had his first NFL touchdown. So that was good, man. Run CMC, man. Any thoughts on any of those two games, or did you get a chance to watch?
I didn't catch much of the Atlanta-Philadelphia game. I caught a little bit of the San Francisco game. I thought that Detroit, for all the talk of that coach and how he's going to be the X's and O's guy, it correct me if I'm wrong, D. Haven, but it did seem like Detroit never had an identity all game. What were they trying to do? They weren't really trying to run the ball. They weren't really trying to pass the ball. They defensively, was that just base all game? I mean, I didn't see. I mean, I never saw anything that stood out. I don't know what to think of the Detroit Lions. Are they just generally bad? I'd
say they played hard though. They played hard. They played hard, and that's all you can ask for. Obviously they're rebuilding. Secondary extremely weak, and they didn't show anything exotic from an X's and O's standpoint. But if you look at the coach Dan Campbell, former tight end, it's probably not going to be a lot of X's and O's. It's probably going to have to be effort when you're devoid talent in the league. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, they showed it. I mean, towards the end of the game, they never gave up.
They came back from 28 down, and truth be told, they were moving on that last drive.
Right,
they had the ball, so they definitely don't have the talent. And Jared Goff is, finding out what life was like for Matthew Stafford for the last 10 years. But
Matthew Stafford's finding out what it could have been like being Jared Goff too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he did extremely well. He threw over 300 yards, had two touchdowns to go over 50 yards. He was like 20 for 26, 321, 3 touches. I mean, he was doing a great job with that offense, man. Big
difference for me is Matthew was running the offense. Goff, would kind of, I mean, he would almost, not quite like college, but I mean, he'd almost do the old, Big 12, get the signal, look over at the, there was a little bit of that out of Goff. I don't think I ever saw Stafford. I mean, they would meet up at the end of a drive and go over things, but I mean, it seemed like it was Matthew's team start to finish every time they hit the field. And just imagine, I mean, everybody knew Matthew Stafford was good in Detroit. It makes you wonder what if he were to win anywhere else, what would he be right now? Because now he looks like, holy moly, So I think they're the class of the NFC West for sure. Yeah. I mean, a little something, but
I think that's the story of the day is, these guys that were stuck there, and then you see like an Aaron Rodgers who wanted out of Green Bay, who how good he is, but then went up and threw up a duck yesterday. Who's to say what should Green Bay, someone wants out of there bad enough, they should have traded him, got some picks, enough's enough, because the team that showed up in Jacksonville against New Orleans yesterday, they didn't show up.
Right.
Yeah. You got to question effort and preparation, not on a professional level, but of a guy that doesn't want to be there, or of a guy that is unhappy, or But honestly, I don't know. It seemed to me that New Orleans was just able to win everywhere. They wanted the line of scrimmage. They won. They're beyond Devontae Adams, but Devontae Adams isn't a physical get off the block guy. He's a great receiver, but it just seemed like Lattimore and the defense of New Orleans was just able to bully them all over the field. And then they just ran all over Green Bay. They just ran the ball whenever they wanted at all times. And it just worked. Everything worked. So
I guess for you, Michael, you've been in the locker room. Does that affect the team when it's quote unquote somebody's potentially last dance and someone of that stature, or do you think that affects the team? Or
yeah. You know what? The old football movie, Remember the Titans, attitude reflect leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So Rodgers is the leader of that team. So what if his attitude is going to have definitely a direct reflect on that on the attitude of that team? Especially when you hit adversity. It's all good when you're winning and but as soon as you hit like adversity, then that's when everything just kind of start falling apart. You know, the strife, the envy, all that stuff, the bickering, you know, the division. So yeah, so it definitely has effect, and it sometimes, you know, when you're winning, it can cover up some stuff. But when you're losing, like I told you, all that stuff, man, when it rains, it start pouring.
Yeah, it came on good. It came on good quick in that game because even Winston got hit on one play and they called it back.
Yeah,
and
on the
next play,
interception.
next play, he threw a touchdown. It was like, you know, it was like boom, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. But you
fell apart, like he said, because I was floating back and forth. The game got out of hand. It hit a landslide real quick, and then Green Bay one-dimensional in a method that they were already losing that facet of the game. So when you get one-dimensional in the one dimension that you're not winning at, you know, it just got out of hand. They just couldn't pass the ball. Receivers weren't getting free. New Orleans was dropping 3 linebackers into coverage. So where are you going to find an underneath crosser? So, and then dropping balls. I mean, how many were? I mean, there were like, I don't know, bad pass, bad catch. Right. I mean, it seemed like Green Bay just didn't show up ready. I mean, it's hard to say that of a pro team, but they did not seem
on a neutral site at that, where they had most of the fans.
Right. It looked like they picked up from where they dropped off last year when Tampa was playing. You know, I mean, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, at one point he didn't throw a lot of interceptions. Had two picks this game. One costly pick in the red zone, and then he overthrew another one in a backed up situation. You know, he was 15 for 28 for 133 yards. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 133 yards. That's crazy. And then when you talk about the other guys not showing up, Jones, the running back, he had like 5 carries, 9 yards, and then Adams' receiver was 5 for 56. So, you know, those guys, it didn't show. You know, I mean, the frustration showed. But I love when you talk about the combination, because on the show we typically on Monday we like to say he's a problem identifying like people that did well. When you look at New Orleans, man, the combination between Sean Payton play calling, you know, mixing that thing up between running pass, was my man Kamari doing his thing in the running passing game, right? And then Jameis Winston, man. I mean, he showed up. He managed the ball well, other than that one pass, that interception they threw that they ended up getting back. I mean, he didn't try to force the ball. He, in the first half, man, instead of forcing the situation, this dude was tucking and running and moving the chains, you know?
Yeah.
So that 1 year being behind Drew, I think Drew said it's about decisions or something. He said he was quoting on. But, I mean, Jameis Winston, I mean, he did a good job. I mean, it didn't show up in the numbers. I think he was just 14 for 20, 148 yards. But, I mean, this joker had 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns, managed the ball well, and then, like I mentioned earlier, also moving the chains with his feet, 6 carries for 37 yards. So, I mean, hey, that was a problem. I mean, what Sean Payton did and all that stuff, the combination of that, and then mix it with the fact of what Green Bay is, you know, the turmoil they have, dysfunction they have, and man, I was surprised. That was a spoiler alert. I mean, I think we all thought Green Bay was going to win, you know?
Yep.
Especially now, Michael Thomas being out, you know.
Can they do it if they run into a team with run defense?
Yeah.
You know, like, do you think they could play that game against Washington? Do you think they could play that against Tampa Bay, who they're going to get twice this year? I don't know. I mean, if you had, like, name 2 defensive linemen for Green Bay.
Right. It's more the linebackers.
I know, but I'm just saying the ability.
Kenny Clark. That's the only dude he paid him well.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, beyond that, if they can't occupy up enough people for the backers, you know, in a 3-4 to get through that lane, you know, I think Green Bay has been able to mask that in the past with teams making teams one-dimensional because Aaron Rodgers is going to light up the scoreboard.
No doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
And so, you know, once you get them out of that, you know, Kenny Clark can't do it all by himself. So they're just going to run on you and run on you and run on you. Because if they don't have to light up the scoreboard back, I think Green Bay is going to lose to just about most people.
Which is really the best way to beat Rodgers is to keep him on the bench. You just keep running up and down the field.
Yeah.
You know?
Which usually you see that when you have a dynamic quarterback, the team will have an outstanding defensive line. So it's weird they didn't invest there.
I watched the Red Zone exclusively yesterday, and what I saw was a case of haves and have-nots. I mean, between the Jalen Hurts and the Tuas and Bridgewater in Denver and Tyrod Taylor, you saw guys that were managing games, and then teams that just they were efficient, and then you saw the Atlantas, the Green Bays. Who just they didn't show up week one. There's like you can see, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you bring this up? And I was about to say they can't trade him because they can't afford the cap hit. I was with Aaron Rodgers. Like
it's too late now.
Yeah. No, they couldn't trade him because of the cap hit. So yeah.
How well did Bridgewater play? I didn't even see that game.
How well did who play?
Bridgewater. You mentioned Bridgewater. How well?
He was really efficient. I mean, Elway got to been really happy with what he saw. If you have to see enough sample size to see if he can do that week in and week out. But with their defense and the way they play, he's a nice.
He has some nice receivers too.
Yeah. I mean, he did well. I like him. He did well just standing in the pocket too. I mean, he took command of that offense, and he. I mean, it was pressuring. Pockets was collapsing, but he was standing tall in the pocket, making great decisions and stuff like that. Buying some time with his footwork, making the things happen. Obviously playing against the Giants, but the Giants, their defense is pretty good, and they'll give you a lot of different looks and stuff, But Bridgewater did good. I had him down he was 28 for 36, 264 yards, and he threw 2 touches. And he, like I said, his feet work was good. And then balanced that with Gordon, that running back. He had over 100 yards. He had that long run at the end, about 70 yards. And then Von Miller, man, he's back. Had 2 sacks and stuff, So it's not that I'm picking him to win the Super Bowl, but I was really that was my thing. I was like, man, Bridgewater back? I mean, he looked really good running that system, and making stuff happen,
My only question mark there is he played a Giants team that obviously is in dire need of a quarterback, because sorry for K-Lou, but Duke should be calling plays. He shouldn't be running the plays.
and NAA, they passed on Justin Fields, and they traded back with the Bears. I think they're the ones that traded back with them. They traded back with the Bears, and they needed Gettleman. He's got 9 lives though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After this,
huh?
You watch. Somebody will hire Gettleman after this.
Oh, that's right, because Gettleman was at Carolina, right?
Oh gosh, he butchered our team, and then got a second life. I mean, he'll probably wind up in a Minnesota or something after here. Like, I don't know. But it's funny you mentioned, man. I was watching that game, and it seemed like Daniel Jones, if the second it gets off schedule, or you ever see a guy look nervous when he doesn't like his first look, he'll go to the second look, but he doesn't look like he likes doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just that second look, it doesn't look like a pump fake. It looks like I don't know. And then like it just I think you're right. I mean, I don't think he's going to be long term in the league. He doesn't seem to have the confidence in, make that second read, make that throw. For him, it's just kind of like, oh crap, please work. So I don't know that
their line is terrible too, though.
Right.
I don't know.
Their line is oof.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like Shepard had a good game. He had, I think, 7 catches for 113 yards, but you didn't get the run game going to help him out. He's not that guy that can carry the team, Daniel Jones. He definitely needs some help around him. But the running game, Saquon Barkley, 10 carries, 26 yards. And then like Daniel, I mean, he threw for 267, 22 for 37. But they need some more talent on that offense. They need some more playmakers to help that guy out, because he's not that dude that can just carry that team, He's definitely not that.
Whereas you see Burrows in Cincinnati, and then the kid Herbert or whatever his name is in San Diego, and these guys are they're throwing the rock all over the place. I mean, so it's that's why I'm saying you're gonna have those type of quarterbacks, or you have the Tuas, you have the Jalen Hurts, you have the Bridgewater's, these guys were managing the ball and were running and throwing. We're fit. I mean, if Bridgewater was, you said 28 out of 36 or something. That's over 75%.
28, 36, 264, 2
Yeah.
touches, and I think he scored a touchdown on his feet. I'm not quite sure.
You're gonna win a lot of games with those kind of numbers.
Yeah, if he managing the game right and playing good team ball, ain't trying to carry the whole thing on the shoulder, making good sound decisions. A lot of times, it's like the Trent Difford effect when he was with Baltimore and they beat us in the Super Bowl. It's just manage the game, man. Don't turn the ball over. Just take what the defense give you. That's what I'm saying. If Jameis can get that at New Orleans,
he's in great shape.
It's in great shape. Yeah. Because to me, it was kind of blessing. I was thinking about that maybe Michael Thomas is out because usually you try to, if he, like Tampa Bay, he's got Mike Evans. He had those big receivers trying to force the ball. Yeah. Now with this team, it's more, it's a receiver they converted to tight end, Johnson, and then you got Kamari. So now it's more like if it's not there, throw the check down. If it's not there, take off and run, as opposed to trying to force it. When he got Michael Thompson, he try to force it to him, So it's just a lot of times when you got the other parts, to me could be better, especially if you got a quarterback like to force it. Then now they know, man, just manage the game. I can win on defense. For example, man, I don't know if you saw that Pittsburgh Buffalo game, right? Every time Ben get pressured, I'm holding my breath like, okay, what are you gonna do with the ball? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's careless with the ball, But one thing he said, man, our defense won the game for us, And when you go on the road, man, you got to pack defense and special teams. And that's what they did.
In Buffalo.
That's what I'm saying. They packed Pittsburgh packed defense and special teams because they end up having a special team. They end up blocking a field goal. Blocking a punt, end up scooping and scoring, But with Ben, sometimes he get careless, try to force it, and then make bad mistakes. So it's like, man, just win. Just know you ain't got to do it by yourself. You got a defense. You got a special team. Man, manage the game. Live to see another day. Live to see another series. You got to take a sack, but don't be careless with the ball. And that's the thing. And on the flip side.
So you have managers, Mike, right? And a lot of these guys, and then you have guys that don't have the talent, and then you see Russ Wilson and Kyler Murray. Those guys just went out and won games, just based off their talent. They obviously have the receivers, but those guys, they just like, hey, we ain't waiting around. We're gonna go do this ourselves.
Right, and it's just the fact, babe. You got to understand your team, like the structure of your team. Sometimes dudes got to force it. Sometimes they ain't got no help. But when you got a team, you got a complete team, then you got to know, look, man, I got to manage. Because Pittsburgh offense, they made a lot of changes. Offensive coordinator, got a new running back now, Najee Harris. It's going to take a little bit to get it going. They start getting it cooking in the second half. But you got to manage. Sometimes you got to manage the know the outcome of the game and call it that way.
They made it their game, and that's the mark of a Mike Tomlin team. Throughout the years, Pittsburgh's have been able to win in a lot of different ways. One year they might be an offensive team. Yes. One year they're straight defense. So that was a great gritty, Mike Tomlin coach. Go and hit him in the mouth, smash mouth game. Josh Allen's supposed to be the MVP. That was a Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, I was surprised, man, because I had Buffalo to win. I was surprised Pittsburgh.
I was surprised too.
I took a nap at halftime and I woke up and Pittsburgh hadn't scored in the first half and I saw they had the lead. I went, whoa!
Yeah. I think they were down like 10-0 at half.
Yep.
And they came back and they put it all together and stuff, And then my man, he's a problem, T.J. Watts.
Oh my gosh!
He had like 2 sacks, I believe, called a forced fumble. That defense stepped up, man.
Fresh off
Josh, man, huh?
Fresh off getting paid.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
He actually ended his holdout because the agents were trying to get him more money. He said he walked to the Rooney's office and said, "Just give me what's on the table."
Yeah, exactly. He got it done.
His brother's team didn't have a bad day either down on the defensive side.
Yeah, Taylor Jones, he's a super problem. He
oh my gosh!
His sack total. He had 5 sacks. Give me 5. Him He had 5, and then Kyler Murray had 5 touchdowns. So they're going 5
I didn't
for
see
5.
that game coming. I did not see that game coming.
We was texting about that and stuff like that, man. I mean, you look at with Tennessee, a lot of stuff is based on Derrick Henry, what he does. But
get going.
He didn't get going, you know. I don't know if it's lack of them not feeding him, but man, that was crazy. 5 sacks. Chandler Jones had 3 sacks in the first quarter.
It's a perfect example of if you have to play from behind and you have, you know, and your running game is your bread and butter. You know, do you have that QB that can go play that game? And Ryan Tannehill, you saw playing from behind, he ain't that quarterback. You know, it's a lot different story when you're playing up in front and your running back's got 200 yards.
Got a new coordinator.
Look how they beat New England. Look how they beat Baltimore. They small balled them, and when if you can't small ball somebody, you know, I mean, they went and got Julio, but I forgot actually that they lost Corey Davis.
Corey Davis had a great game against Carolina yesterday.
Yeah, trust me. That's how I was like, oh, great, that's where he's at. Yeah, so,
he's on my fantasy team. So
that's a physical receiver, and you know, when you had him opposite Brown, it made sense. But yes, Julio Jones is better than, but I don't know that Julio Jones and Brown complemented each other. You know, they're almost like a better version of the other guy over there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas Corey Davis complemented Brown. You know, one take a top off, the other guy will go over the middle, and the linebacker's making the business decision. You know what I mean? So, you know, it just I think losing that, and plus receivers blocking downfield for Derrick Henry. Corey Davis blocking is blocking. You know, so I don't know that I think they lost a dynamic they didn't know they would lose when they lost it. They maybe just one game, but they never got Derrick going. It just seemed like they never got the push off the line for him to break free.
Yeah. I mean, he 17 carries, 58 yards. You know,
the game of the day to me was that Kansas City Cleveland. That looked like an AFC Championship preview. The intensity that
MB called it.
Huh?
MB, I thought he was nuts when he said when they were driving. I was like, oh man, how did he see this coming? I was like, I can't believe he saw this coming. I didn't see that coming either. That was good. That was good upset call that almost came through.
Yeah, almost came. And what happened? Go ahead, Dave.
No, he dropped the punt.
They point saved. They dropped the point, and then talking about managing game, Baker, 1st and 10, 2-minute drill. He forcing the ball instead of take the sack. He forcing it. All right, they end up getting a pick.
Yeah,
that's the same problem he fizzled out last year. That last 5 minutes, you know, your brain shuts off a little bit. He hasn't taken that step yet, Baker. Where I think he, you know,
I thought he did a little bit though.
He did for 3 quarters, and then they took the foot off the gas.
I thought he did.
And it got tight. And Holmes said, "Let me show you how it's done." He said,
"Like what?"
I like how he played to the end double A. I thought Baker did. I mean, you're right. When it counts, you saw the difference with Mahomes throwing across his body for 70 yards when he's in trouble. It's like you saw Baker, you know, when he's in trouble, like Michael said, falling to the ground, just throwing it up. Yeah. You can't do that, but
they're a defender.
I like Cleveland. I really like Cleveland.
Yeah.
Was there a defender on him on that play, or he had just came off one? I don't think there was one physically on him on that play.
Baker Mayfield
Oh no, he was going down.
He was falling down. Somebody's on his feet.
There was somebody at his feet.
Oh yeah.
I knew he had gotten free, and I thought he was just stumbling and threw it.
No, he was trying to get that out of bounds, and they cut him low. It took out all his energy. That's why he was throwing that out of bounds.
He was throwing it out of bounds. Yeah. But the intensity of that game, going back and forth, that looked like a AFC Championship preview to me.
I mean, check this out though. Like I was looking at the Browns had more yards, total offensive yards than Kansas City.
Whoa!
The Browns had 457 yards. Kansas City had 397. All right, and obviously the Browns did it with a balanced attack. They had 153 of those came from rushing and 304 passing. You know, so I mean, they can put it together. You know, and then just imagine OBJ didn't even play.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could definitely put it together. It's just like it's the turnovers, man. And then what you talk about that the punter blocks the snap, you know.
Yeah.
And that hurt a lot.
But at that point, Mahomes was going up and down the field as much as he wanted.
Exactly.
Once he caught fire, it didn't matter what that punter did.
But that's you talk about it, but it's short in the field.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's obvious, but you know they were already spiraling at that point.
You can't do that against the offense because those triplets they have. Mahomes, he threw 337 yards.
Kelsey.
All right, and then the cheetah
Kelsey's
went off 11 catches, 197 yards. He's the problem, right? And then Kelsey, I mean, he's gonna do his. Had 6 catches, 76 yards for 2 touches. You know, so when those 3 guys get going, I mean, you know, it's potent. You know,
those 3 guys put up those numbers, and they still Cleveland almost won.
Yeah,
that's how much they woke up kicking themselves this morning. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
But listen to that stat line for Kelsey: 6 for 76. Every catch is a first down. I mean, unless they got a home call for 20. So I mean, it's first like that. Touchdown. Yeah, that every catch from Kelsey changes the game. And I think the last show we were talking about dynamic tight ends. That for me, that's V1 right now in the league. Yeah, it's him.
Without doubt.
And then this is perfect. This to me, this is perfect time for the Browns to. I mean, because Kansas City's already like they don't have a lot of quality on defense, you know, but they were missing the Honey Badger.
Yeah,
and missing Frank Clark. You know.
Oh, that's big.
So the only superstar they got left is Chris Jones, and he showed up. He was a problem.
He did.
He ended up having 2 sacks in the game.
He did.
I think Sorensen is underrated. I do.
He is. That's who was at Baker's feet was Sorensen. Sorensen was he was the one at Baker's feet at the end of the game.
He is just
the one that was at Baker's feet?
Yeah.
He's consistently in the play. It just seems like to me with Sorensen. He's just, you know, remember he was the one that beat New England. That was it 2 years ago. He got the game-winning interception. They got called back.
D4 was offsides.
Yeah. How much differently would we be looking at Sorensen if he had still had that game-winning interception in the AFC Championship game? So they probably would have won that year.
And you know what? Also, he made a play last year, and I want to say it was against the Browns, where the guy was about to score.
Yeah,
he hit him.
Yes. Yep.
And the
that
ball popped out
in the end zone.
In the back of the end zone. That was him that made that play.
So he's a hard worker.
Yeah, it may not show up in, you know, get all the accolades and stuff, but that dude, hey, he can play. He's a player.
It'll show up when he never hits the free agent market. He'll be one of those. He'll be one of those guys that there's no drama surrounding his contract, and it's easier because he doesn't have the splash that will command the huge numbers, but they'll give him the numbers that'll keep him there. So he'll probably be a lifer in Kansas City.
Do y'all think seeing that game there? Could that be the AFC Championship? I know you mentioned it, or could that be it? Could that be the 2 teams right there?
Buffalo could pull it back out. I mean, what Pittsburgh did to them, I don't know that everyone else could do to them, and I think they can learn how to fix what Pittsburgh did to them. Buffalo may have something to argue about it, but I wouldn't pick Buffalo over Cleveland or Kansas City straight up right now.
Right.
So
that could definitely well said.
That's exciting.
Be it, you know,
I'd still watch out for that San Diego team. I still think they're on the up.
LA.
LA, yeah.
That was a good win for them though, because everybody had Washington's defense is like stopping them, but to go do that on the East Coast like that and a young team. That's a lot of confidence. They got. I'll watch out for them next week when they play Dallas. Let me see what they do against Dallas on Sunday.
Okay. Dallas the measuring stick, huh? You saw enough of Dallas, huh?
Yes, they are. All of a sudden,
Dallas.
I think LA's favored in that game. If I remember seeing the early line.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they playing at Dallas or in the?
They're playing Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
Oh wow. Man.
But I was surprised when I saw that. I'm like, after that game, the Dallas is the dog.
It always takes a while to wake up to Dallas.
Who when you D, what about them that you like about them? What about the Chargers?
I like the quarterback. I like I like the weapons. Keenan Allen, Eckler's not bad. Defense is not bad with Joey Bosa, Derwin James on the back end. They're gritty. Their new coach Brandon Staley came from the Rams, so they have that Rams defensive mindset now going for them. So I like what the Chargers are doing and what they're building there. You know, they've got some pieces in place.
So, wait, do you think they have enough pieces in place to make it to the AFC Championship?
Oh no. You know, no. I wouldn't say that, but I can see them in the playoffs. I see them in the
playoffs. We're talking about playoffs.
Listen,
look at their division. Kansas City's the class. They got to be better than Denver and the Raiders.
Right.
Yeah. We'll
I think losing Casey. I thought losing Casey Hayward was going to be a bigger deal for him.
Yeah,
but it didn't. It didn't seem to be. Although Washington really can't get the ball, but they got Chris Harris Jr., but he's not the same. So
I think that as we pointed out last week, I think the NFC West is the top conference in the NFC. I think the AFC West is the same for the AFC. I think.
You think?
Yeah,
NFC North has something to say about that. NFC North has something to say about AFC North.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because you got Pittsburgh,
Baltimore, Cincinnati look like they're starting to show up a little bit.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, hey, let's circle back to that Washington. I want to talk about that. We was talking about Cam. Is that a place? Because what's his name got hurt? Fitzpatrick. Ron Rivera was Cam's old coach at Carolina. I know Taylor Heineken. What's his name?
Heineken.
I liked him against. Everybody fell in love with him when he played against Tampa in a playoff game. I mean, but can that be a possible landing spot for Cam?
I'll leave it to our Carolina fan. How was their relationship with? It seemed like sometimes Ron Rivera would get a little tired of Cam's antics towards the end there. But you're a Panthers fan, so you know.
We never really got that vibe. I think Ron's frustrations towards the end were with the ownership. I think you could tell a demeanor change pretty quick. I feel like it was Ron Rivera's team, under Jerry Richardson, and it was David Tepper's team from day one. And it never really seemed like there was an incident or anything Cam did that rubbed Ron the wrong way. I think they, because their training camps are 15 minutes up the road. And the one thing you can't fake that doesn't make SportsCenter highlights is how they hang out together at practice, how they embrace each other. And every time Cam would run on the field, arm around coach and then go do, so it definitely I think that isn't the roadblock. I think the roadblock for Cam, just from watching his little video with his dad, I think what he never felt comfortable with in New England, it seemed like New England was Cam trying to be a team guy. And not that he's a bad teammate, but I think Cam is the team where he goes. And I don't know that he could be the team in Washington. I think it takes a city and a culture. I hate this. I hate that. It's going to be like in Atlanta, I think. Somewhere where they're going to Michael Vick him. You know what I mean? And put it on billboards. And he is the guy. I mean, he could do that in Washington, but maybe I'm totally MB knows locker rooms. I don't. But it seems I don't know that he can go to Washington because I just don't know that they'll embrace him in that way. I don't think Ron Rivera is the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said last year, I think Cam better days are behind him, man. I like the competitive, but I mean, based on what I've been seeing, I don't know. It's to me, he's still haven't recovered from that shoulder surgery he had. He's taking a pound now. Huh?
His throws seem a lot more labored, a lot more grimacing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I think it's obviously, to me. I mean, you talking about MVP. I mean, I think it's better days behind him. I don't know if he can start in this league anymore. As far as somebody bring him a starter, but he's definitely let me not be so harsh. I think he could start, but right now it's like it's got to be a certain situation. I don't know. maybe Steven Rubin could he go to the Giants? You know, take Daniel Jones.
Gettleman hated him.
Yeah.
Gettleman and I don't know.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, would that be a match?
Gettleman was always
right.
Gettleman was always ready to move on from Cam.
So I don't know. So that's why I say I circle back on that. He's a starter in his league. I just don't know to what level. You know, when you talk about what you brought up as far as he's got to go to a place like you talking about Atlanta, something like that, where they embrace him, put Michael Victim and all that stuff. I don't know if people feel like they got to do all that to bring him in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because it's going to be
you feel me? Where they got to roll out the red carpet and lay it out this. I think obviously
he goes to many other places.
Is the benefits worth the squeeze when it comes to him at this point in his career?
Yeah,
because if he was, Washington would have signed him.
Well, I think there's a lot of egos. You know, I mean, if you get the right squeeze, I mean, I don't know, 15-1 in the Super Bowl. So, but will you get that squeeze? You know, Carolina was all in with Cam from day one. He had the keys to the city. You know, and I think Atlanta, he could get those keys. I don't know that Washington would. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. I never get quite that vibe from Washington. Can there ever be excitement in Washington? You know what I mean? I mean, I suppose that their fans are I don't know. Maybe I just never get that.
I mean, people like winners. If he go in there and earn it, they'll give it to him. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't think Steven said no. I don't think he did enough these past couple of years where people like, oh, let's give it to him, giving you the keys to the city. But if he go in there and start, say Washington sign, and he start winning and producing, oh yeah. I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? And
winning cures all. Yeah.
But they didn't for RG3. Think about it. You know,
I'm saying RG3 came in first round pick, right? Just like Cam, feel me? And so he came with all the hype. They're gonna roll it out.
But Cam I never really felt that. But remember, RG3 and Andrew Luck, same year. You know, Indianapolis embraced Andrew Luck. The Redskins, because they weren't in. What did they ruined RG3. So
there was rumors that Shanahan didn't want him though. The Shanahans didn't want him as their quarterback. It was more Daniel Snyder's pick. That's why Kirk Cousins ended up going in the 4th round that same year. Remember, they drafted 2 rookies that year. In the 4th round, and there was rumors that they never really, because RG3 once he got injured tried to change up his style to fit the shit what the Shanahans more wanted, and that's when he couldn't become a pocket passer. Once he lost that explosiveness of that injury against Haloti Ngata in Baltimore, that was it for RG3. And then he tried to play when they beat Seattle. They played Seattle. They were up 14-0, and he got hurt in that game. That was it. That was it.
I think Alex Smith brought the most skill and success to the quarterback position in recent years for Washington, and that's the closest I've ever seen a quarterback get embraced in Washington. It just doesn't seem like they either want to home grow it or nothing. You know what I mean? Because it just seemed like after that 1 year with RG3, they were done. It doesn't seem like they were ready to move on from him a lot sooner than they did. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, again,
that's what DeHaven's saying, you know?
Yeah. I don't know that.
You had injury and you had Shanahan's didn't want him, so he had 2 strikes against him. So that's easy.
Yeah. And then after that, then you had Cousin, and then you went through the whole franchise game, you know? Let's make a deal. Yeah. No, franchise. Let's make a deal.
They always love Cousins because Shanahan's the 49ers coach. That's why he passed up on the draft in 2017 on Deshaun and Mahomes, and he was going to take Josh Allen, but Josh Allen didn't come out of school, but he wanted Cousins. He thought he was going to get Cousins in free agency, but Minnesota got him. So they loved Cousins.
I can see Detroit. Golf keeps if the golf experiment keeps not going well, because I don't think they got a big check on him, do they? I mean, how much is golf? Detroit?
Oh, yeah.
That's the city that would come in and raise up Cam, put him on billboards. I mean, he'll be everywhere. So I think Cam's the kind of guy that needs that. I mean, I don't know, my unqualified opinion, but you know what I mean? He seems to, when all the Panthers games I went to, I mean, I've never seen a quarterback spend more time with the fans physically in pads when everybody else is warming up, he's coming up to the front row to sign footballs with kids and take pictures. And I've just never seen a quarterback do that as much. And that's when he was at his best, when he was backyard footballing it in front of the world. And I think it takes a culture to embrace that. And I don't know. I mean, when on the away, on the home games, when the defense would be the ones introduced, Cam would be at the end of the fire tunnel, for his defense to come out. So Cam's like a college player in the pros, and I don't think you can do that with every team in every city.
Atlanta be a good spot for him. Atlanta be a really good spot, but he back up Matt Ryan. And they can't bench Matt Ryan. He's $48 million versus the cap or something crazy.
Much money, yeah.
It's too much.
He's gonna get hurt. The amount of hits that Matt Ryan took yesterday. He ain't gonna make it through this year healthy this year, from what I saw.
Who's the GM? Dimitrov?
Huh? No, Dimitrov got fired. It's Terry Fontenot from the Saints.
From New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, he inherited a bad situation.
Yeah. He's got one more year of Ryan, or he'll be fired too. Like, you got to take your medicine.
Actually got 2 more years of bad money. He's, the dead money is crazy the next 2 years. It was like $60 million this year. They kept moving his money in further years to create cap space. And they went all in on him in offense. All those weapons, the Ridleys. They even went on weapons this year. Kyle Pitts. They're going to be in the doldrums. Never drafted on defense like that. Well, a couple Vic Beasley and them didn't pan out. But, they're going to be in bad shape with that Matt Ryan contract. And if yesterday's any indication, I'm not an Atlanta fan, even though I live here, so it don't matter to me.
And I see y'all not a Matt Ryan fan at all, huh?
Check down Charlie.
How'd you guys think Mac Jones did yesterday?
Huh?
How'd you think Mac Jones did yesterday?
Shaky, but made some play. Not what I thought.
People forget when Brady, the first few years, he was just a manager, man. He didn't go out and throw the ball all around the field. He had to learn to get to that point before he could do that. I thought he did better than expected. I wouldn't be upset with him as my quarterback.
I thought so too. I thought out of him and Tua, I thought he played better than Tua. I was concerned about Tua decision making.
Yeah.
I thought out of those two, like, obviously the numbers didn't show as well, but I felt like he, as far as what they was asking him to do, and then they had the running game, Damon Harris, which is kind of surprised, had over 100 yards running. He had that costly fumble at the end of the game that Matt could have easily. He's going in the red zone.
Game, yeah.
They could have easily won the game.
That's
if they wouldn't fumble that ball. He's driving them down the field, getting the ball. He held onto the ball a little bit longer. He did, like you talked earlier about going to second read. I didn't see him do that as much, but I thought, man,
he looked like a second-year player, and Tua looked like Mac looked like a second-year player, and Tua looked like a first-year player. It looked like Miami had played a very, I don't like the word dumbed down, but they played a very simple offensive game.
They didn't open it up. They didn't open it up like
they have talent. They
Parker made the catch yesterday. They did not open it up like I thought they should have.
What if Cam wound up with the Dolphins?
There you go. That's the city that.
No, they got to get Deshaun Watson. If he can get his legal stuff cleared up, they got to get Deshaun Watson. Damn.
That's a year away.
Yeah, he's going to Carolina. Stop it.
Sam Darnold had a nice game yesterday. Sam Darnold did okay.
He managed.
He did.
I
think Carolina's a place you can not lose it and win. There's not every team where you can go and, hey, just don't lose the game for us. We're not outstanding on defense, but we're solid enough to where I think if the quarterback doesn't lose it for us, we'll be in a lot of games. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what Sam Darnold is. He's a great manager. He's a
Darnold, you think?
Top 15 quarterback. Right there in the middle.
Now. Are you speaking because from a Carolina standpoint, or are you speaking because he's used at the Jets, and it's kind of hard because you see the guy at the Jets, what he had got sacked 5 or 6 times, so it's hard to kind of manage in those duress situations. But Sam, I don't know. even at USC, he's coming out. I mean, he's just been sloppy with the ball, with turnovers and stuff. You know,
he's never looked. He's never wow. I don't know. I think he's got that one wow play from last year with the Jets where he ran one and threw left, but his highlight real short.
Yeah. Well, he's got the arm talent. You know,
but he likes to throw it long.
You know, he's got some, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah. I gotta shoot.
Isn't it weird how general managers will get enamored by a big arm, but it don't matter how far you can throw it if you don't make the right call and you're not accurate. That don't matter because hey, he can throw it 80. All right, we'll fix the rest. That's the part that's hard to fix. Like you know, and it's weird how arm strength will keep you around longer than maybe you should. I'm not saying that's necessarily Darnold, but exactly how Double A said, it seems to be the first thing everyone says. Oh, big arm, you know, and it's if that's the first and last thing you say to describe a quarterback, you know, Mahomes can throw it just as far, you know, but nobody leads off with big arm out of Mahomes. It's wow, what a talent, you know. Right. So and that's never been Darnold, unless you're Colin Cowherd wants to date him. I guess that's the only. He's the most complimentary guy I've heard of Darnold. Anybody else? I mean, he just glowingly.
The Niners kicked the tires on Darnold. The Niners did. We kicked the tires.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Tires on Darnold and Bridgewater.
Mm-hmm. They should have went.
Too.
Mm-hmm. They should have went with Darnold, and they should have got trade value out of Garoppolo if they were truly going to draft Lance. Because imagine having Lance and Darnold on a much shorter leash, because Garoppolo is going to have a longer leash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think they should have done that. They should have got some picks, maybe even get a good player out of Garoppolo, and then had Darnold on a short leash, and then unleashed Lance. I mean, they would be the story of the season, I think.
They might be. I think Garoppolo could have a really nice year, and they got Lance coming in with some nice packages, you know, and I think the Niners are in good shape right now. I'd be very happy in their position after week one.
Is it time for the go to Fields?
Huh?
They lost the running back.
The Bears to go to Fields.
You say what?
Is it time for the Bears to go to Fields?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, David, when they was talking about Trey and Jimmy G. I was like, what about Chicago and Andy and Justin Fields? Because Chicago massaged them in the red zone for some packages as well.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown.
And it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
And it worked.
Yeah, so
and the Rams are a tough defense.
Right.
Yep.
So do you? I mean, when is that going to happen? Do you think they're going to make that
next
change
week?
Right now?
Yeah. They play Cincinnati. I'll go next week.
Dalton will get knocked out of a game by the end of September. It's inevitable. Every year he gets banged up somewhere.
That hurts, I think that hurts Cam's ability to get a team. No, every team, the worst kept secret is Andy Dalton or Jimmy G could be had if the price is right. So if you're a team looking to bring somebody in, you got Cam, but you also know you could probably get Dalton. And either of those are pretty easily arguably better passing talents. You know, I think what you get with Cam is all of the intangibles and the possibility of lifting up the players around you. But I don't think anybody's worried about his arm lighting anything up. So I think that hurts Cam's ability to get a job too, like either one of y'all said. I think if Tua struggles, and, you know, I don't know that they'd kill his confidence by trading for a quarterback, but I think the ability to get a quarterback is pretty easy out there right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt him too.
Well, you know what? You speaking of package, I mean, we talked about how they massage in the rookies, but the Dolphins, they massaged in the vet. Was Jacob? What's his name?
Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. He did what, like a quarterback sneak or something like that. He came in and had some packages during the game as well. You know, so that's one of the ways they. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad in Indianapolis.
So that could be something, because remember, I guess before the season, the coach got to reconfirm, like, hey, this is my guy. You know, like
he had to do it last week, Michael.
Yeah, was it last week?
Yeah, he had to do it last week.
That's what I'm saying. So whenever I heard somebody say, whenever you got to publicly do that, you know, it's some question marks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
I don't think they did him any favors last year, how they pulled Fitzpatrick when Fitzpatrick was kind of doing okay. We know the wheels are going to fall off. Fitzpatrick eventually, but just how they did it when like they had just won like 2 in a row or something.
Right.
That's a tough spot, and I don't know if it came from Stephen Ross, the owner. Like we got to get some excitement down here.
Right.
But yeah,
I agree. It was unnecessary. Why pull him?
Yeah, let Tua sit, learn,
especially coming off the hip.
Yeah.
And if you throw him in, then oh man, we were doing good until Tua.
Right.
So how you think? Jason, you think of the rest of the teams looking at that now? They're like,
oh,
this
man.
year. That's probably why he wasn't voted. I don't think he was voted captain this year. Usually, quarterbacks are voted captain.
The guy that looked good from Alabama for the Dolphins was Waddle.
Yes.
He looks like the next Cheetah.
Yep. I think
he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think Jacoby might. I mean, he might get some playing time before the season's over. I think he is a much smarter quarterback. I mean, if he can learn on the fly when shoved into action in Indianapolis and impress enough to, didn't New England pick him up last year? Yeah.
No, was he at New England?
No, I think he was at Miami last year, wasn't he?
No,
he was at
Indianapolis.
He was back at Philip Rivers.
Yeah, but didn't he? Oh no, he was there before Indianapolis. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I think the intelligence level there, I think, is a threat to Tua because maybe he's not picking up the game.
He's a South Florida kid, and he was supposed to go to Miami before he went to the Gators.
Yeah.
Remember those days, Mike?
Yep. I remember.
And then he went to NC State. He was a grown man at NC State. I mean, he looked like he had a mortgage and a 401k. I mean, that dude was.
He might have.
I remember playing him, watching the games at Clemson. I mean, he's one of the largest quarterbacks, I think, in a long.
Yes. He is.
So if they put him in more and more, the rumblings in Miami will start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I noticed that, I was like, wow, that's kind of odd. But it just started little package. Hey, let him run this package for him, and the next thing you know, as soon as I go run, hey, let's go, let's try this as a change up,
In practice, if they're practicing different packages and those packages are passing, because now they put some game film out of Jacoby comes in to sneak it. So that means they're going to be practicing some. Oh no, we're just doing it because they saw a sneak. So now we need to have a package of him throwing it.
Exactly.
And then that starts going well. They're gonna be like, we just need a little package of all 4 quarters. So it's I don't know. That does not spell good. I've never seen a highly touted rookie be so doubted start to finish than Tua in recent.
Yeah.
Right, and he came at the hip. I mean, now it's like already down on this. It's just crazy, Speaking of rookies, how you think your boy did at Jacksonville?
I think he. Welcome to the NFL. Some of those plays that he is used to being the generational talent. It wasn't even just a crossbody throw. It was an off balance running. I can do it because I'm me crossbody throw, and that would work in college. When you've got engineering students, trying to guard against somebody, but when you've got somebody that is a dog, you saw what happened because Houston is not a good team.
Right, I was surprised. I mean, Trevor was 28 for 51, had 332 yards, 3 touches, but 3 picks as well.
The fact that he threw it 51 times is all you need to know.
Exactly.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I think it was the game flow because they got down early, but I think Urban has to protect them a little bit more than that. Maybe, once it's out of hand, stick to the run or something like that.
Right.
Help them out. They lost ETN. Who's behind ETN down there?
James Robinson was an undrafted free agent, though. He had 1,000 yards last year.
He was good last year.
Yeah.
And they got Carlos Hyde.
There you go. Carlos Hyde. I was gonna say they need that change of pace back down there if they want to.
Right.
So, who they got next week?
Jacksonville, Denver.
They got Denver next week.
0-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Houston, I was surprised at Houston because Cook stepped up. He had like 5 catches, 132 yards, and Tyron Taylor. I mean, he did well.
And,
I was going against Jacksonville, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Mark Ingram had a good game too.
Yeah.
Ingram running the ball hard.
Yeah. Yep, that's a forgotten player. I don't think he's been bad anywhere he's been. He's just been situationally beat out just about everywhere. Who saw they got Adrian Peterson in New Orleans. That didn't really beat him out, but Alvin Kamara sure did.
Yeah.
And then in Baltimore, who saw J.K. Dobbins coming? So I think Ingram's got a chance to stick it out in Houston. Tyrod Taylor, though, you got to feel for the guy. Where did he get sacrificed out? At Los Angeles last year, right?
The Chargers. Yep.
He had a pulmonary embolism. He got punctured in the chest. He lost a starting job on.
Check out that foresight. He went to Houston before the stuff with Deshaun started.
Right.
That roll of the dice worked.
Yeah.
Like, good for him. I mean, it's good to see him get a shot and have his team for once.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts? We was talking about this. You mentioned with Ingram was at Baltimore. What's your guys' thoughts on the game tonight? What's your prediction? Vegas against Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's tight. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Vegas.
Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm gonna go with Vegas.
Baltimore Ravens. Who you guys got tonight?
Vegas at home, opening up a new stadium. There's probably going to be a lot more Baltimore fans in Vegas. Yeah. So I don't know if that's good, but Baltimore's banged up. Baltimore is banged up.
Right.
No running backs.
Right.
Marcus Peters, ACL.
Yeah.
You don't have Judon anymore.
Yeah.
They're banged up.
Game yesterday. Yeah. Judon had. Where'd he go yesterday? He sacked the quarterback. Where was
He's in New England.
Was that it? Yeah. He played lights out. Judon never seemed out of place. I couldn't believe when they called out his name. I was like, he got out of Baltimore. I mean, he was always taking plays in Baltimore, but I think I still think Baltimore's got enough. I think
I can't ever root for a Gruden team.
Why not?
I don't know. I just he needs to be back in the booth, man. He's so stubborn with the play calling. It's an era it's gone the way he wants to do things. It's a different game now.
Right.
He does very vanilla West Coast.
Yeah, it's great when you have a Tampa defense.
Right.
You win a Super Bowl. But what else?
Dungy's defense.
It did fail miserably his first year. That was probably the most exciting storyline. Gruden coming back. Remember, he's got control of the whole team. And is this the new era where the coaches have everything? And then he immediately fails. And I think he had a few rumblings last year, but
they fizzled out at the end.
Yeah. I think
Kansas City, but they fizzled out at the end. But he's got 10-year, $100 million.
And ownership. Yeah, I'm curious what they're doing because I know their offensive line. They kind of blew that up. They cut Hudson. They I think traded for somebody else. So I'm curious to see what they do. But I'm gonna go with them. As I don't know, the injuries with the Ravens kind of concern me. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Is Baltimore's new running back suiting up tonight? Are they clear? Is Bell?
Yeah, they got Murray's there.
They got the Freeman, Murray.
Those guys can play.
Bell, I think
Bell's
on practice squad. I think
Devontae Freeman. He still got. If he still got tread on the tires, I mean, you're talking about a serious running back.
Yeah.
So
I think Baltimore by 10. I think Baltimore's gonna come up early. And it won't be quite, just a guess, it won't be quite like Detroit coming back on anybody. But I think Baltimore goes up early and David Carr makes a couple Sports Center highlights at the end. Hunter Renfrow will somebody. But I think Baltimore by 10 is my guess.
Baltimore by 10. And then Double A, who you got?
I'm going with the Ravens.
Okay, so me and D got the Raiders, and you two's got the Ravens. All right, well, good, man. Well, man, I appreciate y'all coming on, man. I appreciate the love. Hopefully, we got to get our run CMC. We got to get our tally thing going on. Who games. We gotta circle back and get that going. Steven Rivers got the Ravens. So we gotta get that and keep a running tally, man. So maybe on Friday we'll get that thing going, man. But appreciate you guys sacrificing your time again, man, to come on the show, man. I appreciate it, man, and appreciate the love, bro. D,
Yeah.
appreciate you. Run CMC, appreciate Double A. Y'all be good, man. Hey,
right,
appreciate you watching. Steven, man, get these Giants right. Maybe the G-Man got to get it right. But for Sideline and Baseline, man, we are out. Peace.